The Georgia Bulldogs get ready for the Kent State Flashes. And we've got you ready here on Dog Post. I'm going to get my screen in the background that no one can see ready. Ryan and Matt DeBerry joining Dean Leggy, as always, for this edition of Riding Home. Now, we've entered the section of the season where it gets a little choppy for the Dog Post crew. Matt will be joining us from home or Canada. I can't remember. And so Ryan, Anna Ruth, and I will be at the game on Saturday. Matt will be giving his thoughts at substage. But Ryan, let's start with you. Your thoughts coming into this game with the Kent State Flashes. I can't imagine that this game is going to be 7-3 at the half like it was for the Oklahoma Sooners.
No, similar thoughts to a couple weeks ago heading into the Samford game. I think that the team should have the same goal, get out of there healthy. I think they need to score a little quicker than they did against Samford. This is a similar game to me, right? It's, smaller programs. They should be blowing these programs out. It's surprising if they don't. And get the younger guys in there. Get the third and fourth string in there. I think Vandegrift had one drive against Samford. If he could get a couple more and even maybe get to Gunnar Stockton, I think it'd be a huge win just for the future of the program.
I don't know about Gunnar Stockton, Matt, but we'll see. One thing I do want to add, Kent State's level of play is significantly higher than Samford's in terms of what you should expect to see. And the other thing too, Matt, and I'll throw it straight to you, Kent State does do some hurry-up stuff. They can get up to the line quick. So this is sort of practice for what they're going to see against Tennessee later in the year.
Yeah, Kirby really likes Kent State. That's what he told the media the other day. They have a really good quarterback. They're well coached, this and that. So he wants everyone to believe that they're a good team. But at the end of the day, he says it all the time. They're not playing against the opponent, really. They're playing to a standard, and that's go out, play tough, physical, disciplined football, and do it well. And that's what they've been doing. So everything that he preaches to his team and just the organization is working right now. And it's just another game on Saturday, and they're going to all try to, play the same type of way, come out aggressive, get points on the board. And like Ryan said, hopefully they can play some of these younger guys.
Well, again, so much of what I talk about all the time, it's not who you play, it's how you play, it's how you look, it's are you crisp. These are all things that are important for a Georgia team that it looks like they're the number one team in the country, is ranked the number one team in the country, and this is really about building momentum, going towards kind of a back-to-back against Auburn and Mizzou that I don't think a lot of people feel like is going to be a big deal. But I think, getting the young guys in there, man, the young guys are playing against South Carolina, Ryan. I mean, they're all playing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that should be beating at least almost all of their opponents by double digits. So you're going to get a lot of games like that. South Carolina was a great example, and I think this crew, maybe outside of you, predicted that it was going to be that big of a blowout. But I think as far as like years ahead, and it's actually something Kirby alluded to last night, how they're always moving forward, that they're always preparing for what's in front of them, and they're even preparing some of these guys for 2023. I think he mentioned that, some of these guys are preparing for the first game next year. So these types of games where they quote unquote shouldn't be close are the perfect games to do that. And just staying healthy is, I think, really important when you're a team like this. A couple injuries can definitely change the narrative, but we saw, freshman Dylan Bell step in for AD Mitchell, and he's played well in the opportunities he's been given, and we're seeing that. We're seeing a lot of guys went to the NFL last year, a few guys on offense and a bunch of guys on defense, and we're seeing now that it's someone else's opportunity, a Smile Mond and a Jamon Dumas Johnson. They're taking advantage of it, and they're playing pretty well.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the same things from last year, right? Almost every game was over at the half. We saw a lot of young guys, and that's what Kirby Smart wants out of his program. He can go into living rooms and say, hey, you might be young, but we're playing a lot of young guys each and every year. Look at the scoreboard. Look at the snap counts. We want to play these younger guys because eventually they're going to start. And I think he said, earlier this week that they want to be ready. They want these younger guys to be ready by the time Tennessee rolls around, and Kentucky towards the end of the season, where guys may be injured who are starting, or they just need more quality depth to put their foot on the gas against these teams and end this season strong. But everyone expects Georgia to continue to play well. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. And again, they practice hard each and every day. Practice means a lot to Kirby and those guys. So if they practice well, I expect them to come out against a good Kent State team that Kirby believes in, and do what they should do and play like the number one team in the country and beat a team the way the number one team in the country should.
Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION today. We've had a lot of orders today. I don't know why. Sometimes it's from the stories that are written. Matt has a very good article today talking about maybe it was yesterday's talking about when is the Heisman Trophy campaign start for Stetson and Brock Bowers?
Yeah, I mean, he's the best player in college football. He's the best player in college football. He's the best player on the best team. I mean, talent-wise, look what he did against South Carolina. Look what he does every time the guy has the football. Hey, Georgia fans should just have fun watching this guy. I haven't seen anything like it come through Athens. Why not?
He's a heck of a player, no doubt about it. When you're in Athens this week, make sure you're going to our friends at Red Zone up on Clayton. I'm going to be by there briefly on Friday, so if you see me and you get the book there, let me know and I'll sign it for you. I want to talk to y'all both about, this is an article from Matt Hayes, who has been around the block for a while. Certainly not an idiot the way that I've ever consumed his stuff, but he's discussing, quote, conspiracy theories, and he's talking about why has Georgia not played at Texas A&M, and he actually called the SEC about this. And Herb Vincent had this to say about it. He said, there are a number of games that haven't been played yet since 2014, but there seems to be more focus on Georgia at Texas A&M. So I want to just point this out real quick. Before, there were a lot of sacrifices that occurred. First of all, I'm just going to go around the panel and we're going to talk about this conspiracy. First of all, Ryan, Georgia's not played at Texas A&M in the last since Texas A&M's come into the league. Your comment?
Why does that matter so much?
It doesn't. But what's your comment? Okay.
Does Georgia care about that? I don't think they care about that.
It's an 8-4 team.
I mean,
what's the difference?
The way they do it is the schedule has been laid out. The schedule's about to change a little bit, but there's a schedule the way they do it, and there's a long gap in between times that you visit certain places, and the way they laid it out just happens to be that way. I don't know the details of the schedule. Like I don't look at it that often, but it's a scheduled thing. I'm sure that was due in the next couple of years. That makes a lot of sense. So they'll play them when it's scheduled. I don't know why there's a conspiracy around it. That's my first thought.
Matt,
I'm all in on the conspiracy theory. I think the SEC is out to get all of the bad teams. I think they're trying to protect Alabama and Georgia and A&M. They don't want.
You just said good teams. You just said good teams. You're going to put Texas A&M
supposedly the big money teams, the big market teams. No, I don't know. I think it's funny to talk about, but sure, why not? Yeah, the SEC, college football are protecting Georgia and Alabama, of course.
Oh, apparently.
That was
Wait, you said, well, Texas A&M's not great. Where is it? Elite, great, good? How? So where you put A&M's not even good?
I think they've been adequate. They've been, a good team is a relative term. They won an Orange Bowl in the last 12 years.
They're a top 20 team right now. If I had to make my top 20,
they're a top 20 team.
They're still a good team.
Yeah,
with a program that has the potential to be great. They just have never won anything ever.
Well, let's just see how they maneuver past these next 2 weeks, which will come with Arkansas and Alabama. I mean, if you've got if you have 3 losses before the middle of the season, I don't know, but. Let me go through and make sure we're all on the same page here in terms of living in reality a little bit. In 2011, just before Texas A&M and Mizzou came into the league, it was announced that Georgia would be going to Auburn twice Now, a lot of people don't remember that, but the Georgia folks do, and they're still mad about that. That, of course, was the Georgia was willing to do that, so there would be a bridge coming into the 2014 season, and that was the time at which everybody could set the schedules up. If you will forget, there was a rotation. There was a way that the teams played for a long, long time. And I'm going to go right now. These are images from the Missouri game, and this is SEC Commissioner Mike Slive. This is the guy who set this up. Now, y'all can't see it on the screen, but this is going into the fourth quarter. It's a picture of SEC Commissioner Mike Slive. Georgia's got a 24-20 lead. Jarvis Jones is about to take the game over. It's headed into the fourth quarter. Earlier that day, y'all, Texas A&M and the Gators played one another in the opener. But folks are forgetting that this was a 2-year transition to get everybody where they needed to go. Part of that transition involved Georgia playing at Auburn 2 years in a row. People are forgetting that part. Now, from 14 until today, we've not even had 8 full seasons. We've had 8 full seasons, excuse me, which means we've not had the capability to rotate around and do the full slate all the way through. Georgia has played in back-to-back-to-back seasons. They played, and the other screw up here was in 2020, which was a COVID year. That didn't happen either. Georgia went on the road to play at Arkansas. I'm trying to remember the other games, but Ole Miss has only played in Athens once in the last decade. Alabama has played in Athens once in the last decade. This is just the way it is. That Georgia's last games come against Texas A&M was decided in 2012. There's no conspiracy here, stupid. It's just what it is. I don't know what the other, moronic statement is, but it's just what it is. Like, I'm sure South Carolina got screwed somehow, or Vanderbilt, but like no one talks about that.
Yeah.
I am at a loss for the reaching and grabbing out there, and they do this with Alabama too. Like, someone's trying to save it for Alabama. No, it's not. It's just what it is. That Alabama and Georgia don't play each other a lot. Is that's what the money's for. That's what we're doing now. We are passing money out, and these teams play fewer times. That will be dealt with in the near future. Someone can take it from here.
Yeah, I think you're right. When did they come, or when did they go to College Station next?
24.
You said earlier, sometime soon.
Yeah, 24 if I'm not mistaken, or 25, one of the two. But it's just what it is.
Well, I know they came in 2019, and it wasn't like automatic that they didn't go to A&M the next year or anything like that. But I feel like it's South Carolina fans who are always kind of barking up the Georgia's being protected or Alabama is being protected tree. They're the team that got Texas A&M, which makes no sense, the two farthest apart. But they seem to be just a bitter group. But I'm looking forward to going out to College Station a little bit, but I don't know, Ryan.
This is an off-season reach conversation. This is not an in-season for that guy. I don't know who that guy is, but
he's been around the block.
That's something you write about off-season. That's it is what it is. They have a schedule, and it's every few years they go to each other's place, and it doesn't matter. The better team will win that day. I mean, It's just why is there a fear? There's not a fear. Georgia doesn't fear going to Texas A&M. They've done far worse.
They have. They don't play them all the time, but they haven't lost to them that I can remember. I mean, they beat their brains in Shreveport. They were beating
King. Yeah.
Joe Cox. The
yeah.
appearance of Todd Hartley on the sideline for the first time as an actual assistant coach.
Yeah. Von Miller was in that game. Yeah.
Von Miller was in that game. That actually, side note, that was one of the worst field conditions I've ever seen. That was a horrible field. But, I personally, I would be glad to exchange Missouri for Texas A&M. It's just not what it is. And South Carolina was dumb enough to say, well, we don't want to play Arkansas anymore. So we'll pick Texas A&M. Great idea, guys. That's resulted in even, more beatings. Although You would imagine, in the grand scheme of things, Matt, who would be the better program, Arkansas or Texas A&M? Well, who should be?
Ooh, I think Arkansas might be if you really dig into it.
No,
But
but who
I think
should
Texas
be?
A&M should be.
Texas
Yeah,
A&M should
they
be.
should be. They've got. I mean, just look at what they've done in recruiting. They've got resources. They've got a lot of money. They got a lot of crazy cult-like fans. I mean, Georgia has all the resources. Everyone talked about them being a sleeping giant. You know, Steve Spurrier woke up Florida a little bit. Kirby woke up Georgia, this monster of a program that could do big things for a long time. And I think Texas A&M, like Texas, has the resources to do it. They don't have the people in charge to do it right now. And they've never got to that point either, the way it looks like Georgia is being. I know Texas has had their runs and their historic program, but Texas A&M hasn't won anything in a long time. Texas won in 05, but it's not like they had a giant stretch run or anything like that. So
Who's had a better?
who's had the
better, Matt? And then Ryan, who has had the? We really should have Dylan in on this Texas discussion. Yeah. Texas A&M and Texas expert Dylan Weber. Who has had the better run since 2012? Texas or Texas A&M?
I would say A&M, just with Johnny Manziel and what they've done, and they've really taken a big step or two when they moved to the SEC. Everyone looked at them differently, and they've had a lot of success being in the SEC, and I think that jump just really helped them. They were like a mid to average program when they were out in the Big 12. It felt like they were an afterthought after so many teams. Kind of still are, but on a bigger stage. And again, this is where the big boys play, and they've started to recruit a lot better with being in the SEC. They've got to turn it into wins, and soon, because they do have a lot of talent over there. Don't have a quarterback, but they should be doing very well.
Okay, Ryan?
No, A&M's been the better program of late. But you know, Texas, to me, it's just there's no excuse for not being good over there. You have too many resources. You have too much backing for them to just be that bad. I do think that maybe they've taken a couple baby steps towards being better the last couple of years. But A&M's been a better program than them the last decade. You mentioned, I mean, how many? There's not a lot of programs that have a Heisman Trophy winner in the last decade. Some of them, I mean, Bama's got a couple.
Right. And, so maybe 8. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, and they've won New Year's 6. Have they won a New Year's 6 game in the last 10 years?
They won the Orange Bowl in 2020.
Yeah. So, I mean, Texas did get the Sugar Bowl over Georgia, but
that's
was
true.
Kind of a
that's true.
It's kind of a 1-year wonder deal for them getting that far.
Let me speak to that. Let me speak to that real quick. Ryan, what year were you born?
01.
So we're going to start from 2001, Matt. And it's going to be, I'm going to give you the total wins, not the losses, the total wins for the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies since 2001. Here we go. 8, 6, 4, 7, 5, 9, 7, 4, 6, 9, 11, 7, 11, 9, 8, 8, 8, 8, 7, 9, 8, 9, 8, 2 so far. Now, one of the 9s should have been probably a 10-win season, but does that scream greatness to y'all?
There's only 2 programs that scream greatness, though. I mean,
but I think you know, I don't have a problem with Texas A&M. I don't care. Like you know, there's we have a relationship with people who are really big Texas A&M people with F5. So obviously, I mean, we don't care. But when you compare that, and people say, "Oh, Georgia's in the East," all right, fine. Georgia's in the East since 2000. Here we go, 2001. 8, 13, 11, 10, 10, 9, 11, 10, 8, 6, 10, 12, 8, 10, 10, 8, 13, 11, 12, 8, 14. Like some of those are not, that's not in the same universe, these 2 programs. And so this discussion that Texas A&M, Georgia not going to Texas A&M is like some conspiracy. No one, I mean, what conspiracy? That A&M would eat another loss? Yeah, I said it. I mean, what is their best win over the last, Alabama last year, probably,
Alabama
right?
last year.
Yeah, and then
the one time they beat Alabama before with Johnny Manziel. Yeah. At the time, that was it.
And the Orange Bowl, anytime you win an Orange Bowl or a Sugar Bowl, those are big wins too.
I forgot who they even played.
They beat North Carolina.
Cool.
I mean, I'm just saying, you asked the question.
Right. I love how it's make fun of Texas A&M like the last 2 weeks, just everywhere. It is so easy, and
Wait,
I
I'm
mean,
not
it is what
making
it is.
fun of them.
We are in a way a little bit. I mean, it's fun. But you were given stats, the numbers there, and I thought they were surprising.
Really?
A little bit, a little bit. Now I know they're not a 10-win type of season or program. 10 wins is a really big deal over there, but they've had a lot of really good players
That was
come
all you had to
through.
say.
But
That was all you
yeah,
had to say. 10 wins is a
But
big deal over there.
now, wait a second.
Yeah.
Now, wait a second. Now, most places don't just win 10 games. That's lately it's been
Yeah, but
Clemson.
the
Lately it's been
argument that they're
Clemson.
not a great program.
I did not say. If I said they were great earlier, I don't feel like I said that. Someone can rewind the tape. I think they were a good program.
Yeah, but the difference
yeah.
is 10 wins is a disappointment for Georgia now.
It is now.
And 10 wins would be, 10 wins is a disappointment for Georgia.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
But 10 wins for A&M would be, you pat them on the back for that. You give them a cookie.
Oh man, that's
That's
pretty aggressive. That's pretty aggressive.
Throwing cookies out there, right? I like
it. They listen, man. They need to win.
One of the cookies we had the other day, man.
They need to win these next one. They need to split with Alabama and Arkansas, or this thing's going to go sideways for Jimbo. Now, that the win over Miami was I thought it was a pretty good win myself, but I don't see it right now for them. I think they're actually favored against Arkansas. Am I wrong?
I think they are too.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but we'll see. I can't get past. I just think they're a point and a half favorite or 2 points favorite over the Hogs, who didn't look great last week if we're just being honest. But
right.
I just we get this sometimes, these conspiracy theory things. The fact is, the way Georgia looked at it at the time was, we're being a good member of the league. We're going to go play at Auburn 2 years in a row to balance this thing out. We don't want to stop playing that game. I mean, that was decided, I think, in 11. So it's just what it was. And Georgia people are still pissed about that. And now we have this discussion of, Georgia's not played at Texas A&M, which suggests in a way that there's some sort of fear, or they're scared to go play at Texas A&M. They don't care about play. I mean, these guys play everywhere. What's the difference? They just opened the season a year ago against Clemson and Charlotte.
Well, and before that, they went out
in
there
Arkansas
to start 2020. So
yeah,
they were going to go to Norman, right? And then they went to Notre Dame. They played at Colorado. They played at Arizona State. So the Dogs have definitely
they've
traveled a
good
bit.
games too. They do. I mean, Clemson, Oregon, they're not afraid of big games. It's a dumb conversation.
Well, I think you get the complaining. I don't know if it's coming from Florida or who, but look, the reality is, putting the conspiracies aside, the league can only play so many games. And if we have a divisional thing, it's just what it is. In the near future, you're going to see everybody playing everybody every other year, and you're also going to see a lot more losses. I don't know if that's good or bad or not, but the expansion of the playoff, do you think the regular season will be better or worse, Matt, because of the expansion of the playoff and more losses? Do you think it will be better or worse?
It's hard to say it'll be better, but maybe the rivalries will mean a little bit more. I don't know, but it doesn't seem, immediately that the regular season will mean more or feel the way that it did before the expanded playoff.
Ryan?
I think it dilutes the regular season games a little bit. Now you can afford to lose a couple games and not be freaked out about missing out on the playoff. And I think that was one of the things that I liked better about college football than I do about the NFL. Is, the NFL, you could be a wild card team, you could lose 8 games and still win the Super Bowl, but in college football the margin for error is so small, and they just made it a little bit bigger, which to me takes a little bit of the lust out of it. But I don't think, as far as a whole, you're still going to see the same teams dominating this playoff. They're just going to have to beat a couple more people to do it. If that's what they want, that's what they want. But I don't like what it's going to do the regular season. But it's too early to tell.
So, see, I do like what it does to the regular season, and here's the reason why. You expand the playoff, that means every other year you get Georgia, Texas. Every other year you get Georgia, Alabama. You still get Georgia and the Gators every year. You almost certainly will get Georgia Auburn every single year. So every single year, Georgia will either play the Gators, Auburn, and or Texas and Oklahoma. The Dogs will play the Gators, Auburn, and LSU or Alabama. I mean, you're talking about, y'all, a situation where Georgia plays Florida, Auburn, Bama, and Oklahoma. That is a huge regular season. The other years you play the Gators, Auburn, Texas, and LSU every single year. Some games home, some away. Lest we forget South Carolina, which will probably fall off of Georgia's every single season schedule. Lest we forget South Carolina, Mississippi. I hope Georgia never plays Missouri again. Ryan will know what I'm talking about here in a couple of weeks. But I think it makes for a better regular season. I'm not totally sure you can say that about the Big Ten yet.
Now, is the regular season the same with this expanded playoffs, or is this with a more, more SEC games with that they're trying to do now?
What I'm suggesting is you could not have one without the other. Without the expanded playoff, you are not going to get Georgia, Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma. Okay. That would not happen. So now that you have an expansion, there's certainly now we're getting into the TV nerd stuff, which I'm going to hold off on going too hard on. But you're going to have the capability of having a 9-game SEC schedule with your 3 permanent foes and the 6 schools that rotate every other. So that means every 4 years you play twice at Texas, twice at Oklahoma, and they come to your joint twice. So I think it's great for television product. I think it's great for the fans because the Georgia fans are getting a little crabby about this 23 schedule, as y'all have seen on the message board. And, honestly, Ryan, let's just be straight here. If Georgia were if Georgia were hosting Oklahoma this week, we wouldn't be having this discussion about Texas A&M. It would be everybody would be jacked up about Texas A&M or about Oklahoma coming to town and losing.
Yeah, I mean,
you're laughing because you think Oklahoma would beat Georgia in Athens, Matt?
No, I just like the way you said it like that. That's
Are you saying versus being excited about Kent State or Ball State?
Right.
Yeah, of course that would bring a lot more excitement. And so you're saying with all of these changes, there's going to be more of that?
There will be more.
That's cool, but I still
hear
feel
Kirby calling me. I can't find my phone. Maybe it's Brent Venables this time. Yeah. Again. Hold on.
Brent Venables is a dog post guy.
He might not be
after on the recruiting trail a couple of times. Yeah.
He might not be after he hears my comments about the Sooners this year. I think it will be. It will be bigger games, though, man. Think about. I know we're not so far from getting off here, but think about a Saturday where the nightcap is Georgia, Oklahoma, but the regular daytime is Florida. It could be Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Kentucky, Ole Miss. Yeah.
Kentucky, Ole Miss would have to be on ESPN. I mean, they would stack it. I mean, those 3 games would not all be the same weekend, but it would be something like, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Kentucky, Oklahoma, LSU. It would be, I mean, those are really good games that people will watch. If 3 million people are going to watch Georgia just bludgeon South Carolina, they're going to watch Georgia play, 6 million people watched them play bludgeon Oregon, man. I mean, 10 million people watched Alabama escape Texas. This is just what it is. People want to be entertained. And hopefully we entertain y'all every now and then. Matt was going to say one thing real quick.
I don't think so. Don't remember. Too. Oh. I think you summed it up well. Nailed it.
Should we score? We got to talk about Kent State again a little bit, or?
Oh yeah, just real quick.
Went way off the wagon.
Well, did you want to break down their interior offensive line?
Spread. What's the spread?
Let's go, Ryan.
What's the spread?
All right, we'll get you this. We'll get you the spread.
Do you have any hot takes? Let's hear some hot takes, Ryan.
A hot take about this game?
What's going to happen?
Or about your Falcons.
Well, the Braves just lost, so we don't have to really.
Oh, that's what you're looking at. Oh God.
Oh, the Falcons.
That's probably enough on the Falcons. All right. Georgia is I'm going to say 44-point favorite just because it's kind of goofing around here at 43 to all the way up to 45.5.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan.
They'll cover. I'm actually curious as to when I'll say they don't cover. I just think they're that much better than everybody.
Yeah, Matt.
Give me 2 Carson Beck touchdowns. That'll be my hot
Oh.
take. And give me a shutout. Give me a shutout. Yeah.
Oh, I need a hot take. Give me a Darnell Washington touchdown. He's only had one in his career.
I thought we were talking about hot takes here. I mean, these are all things. These are all things in the realm of possibility.
What do you want?
I need to know which third string player scores a touchdown.
Which third string player scores a touchdown?
Which non-starting? Darnell's a starter basically.
Yeah.
I mean, does Morissette? Okay, so does go ahead.
Branson Robinson touchdown.
All right, Matt.
I want my guy Dom to find the end zone soon. Maybe this is a game where they get Dom in the end zone.
I'm gonna go with Bell. Is that?
But he's already scored this year, man.
Well, I didn't see it. I was underneath the stadium, so that doesn't count, right?
Didn't happen.
That's not. He's a starter now. But Kirby says he started last week, and Kirby the claim starters is if you're on the field a lot. Because they rotate so much.
Okay, I get that. All right, fine. Okay, fine. I will say
Malachi Starks. Yeah.
What, another pick? Another pick?
Malachi Starks in some fashion. Yeah.
Something to remember. I'm going to say this is going to be a good game for Michael Williams. Michael, give me the pronunciation, Matt.
Michael
Williams. I think this is one of these.
Michael Williams.
Yeah. Michael Williams is going to be one of these days where you see him and you're like, oh yeah, let's see it, let's go. Not a hot take, but I'm not going off the top of the board saying Stetson's going to throw. I actually do not think Stetson will throw for 250 this game.
I think he'll rush for another touchdown. If that's hot.
Well, I just think you really don't know. They have so many different things you can do on offense. I think we haven't seen a lot of stuff, so I don't really know what to expect. I mean, I don't think they'll bring out a bunch of new stuff this week, but I think they're saving stuff for down the line for sure.
When are they going to use these things?
Florida,
at Kentucky, Tennessee.
That's at the end of the year, but we'd like to get that stuff out early. And
if they keep doing what they're doing and they dominate people, then they can hold off.
Like the first touchdown against South Carolina was a trick play, so they used that.
Yeah, they showed a little bit more, but I don't think we're gonna see anything nuts like that this week.
All right. Well, sorry the discussion was so much about Texas A&M. Next week we'll talk about Louisville the whole time. All right. Thanks for watching. No. All right. Bye.